Hello and welcome to Brodual. This time we have Immersive Speechcraft. Now you're probably thinking, oh great, another mod with immersive in the title, but we think this one's actually worthy and fitting to the name. The mod attempts to add a bit of fluidity to the speech in the game. It also wants to add more value to the speechcraft skill and give the player the ability to interact with NPCs in a variety of interesting ways. The mod works in a similar way to the follower commentary overhaul, in that it uses over 1000 generic voice files to offer more dialogue options and responses. In the follower mod it was used to make your followers comment on their surroundings, but in this mod it's used to interact directly with almost any NPC. Depending on your speech skill you can now ask NPCs to do a variety of things, all the way from simply commenting on the weather to temporarily joining you in combat. The likelihood that they'll even listen to you depends on your relationship with them as well as your current speech skill level. These factors will also affect other areas, so for example you can now ask an NPC to temporarily follow you, and the time they spend following you will scale with your speech skill. You'll also have to make sure to unequip your helmet to see the new dialogue options, because you can hardly interact properly with your face covered, and it's also just rude. One of the most useful options lets you trade with any NPC, which is a feature seen in a lot of other RPGs. Alternatively you can gift them an item, which they'll be thankful for and it'll improve your relationship. On the other side of things you can beg for some gold, which will leave them feeling a little bitter. Another option lets you insult them, which might cause them to start fighting you. You can now also play tricks on NPCs which causes them to bend over and check to see if their boots are untied. Successfully tricking them will also increase your speech skill. So on top of the useful options there's a couple of novelty ones that you can just use for fun. And finally you can also ask the NPC to train you, which only works if the NPC is highly skilled in a particular field. But similar to the new trade options, it can be a really handy feature and is quite a significant buff to Speechcraft. The mod also opens up Speechcraft as an alternate method of pickpocketing. As long as your speech skill is high enough you can now attempt to mug an NPC, which essentially lets you pickpocket any items from their inventory without causing a scene. It won't always work and you shouldn't expect to mug an NPC that's confident in their ability to defend themselves, but it makes for an interesting additional option to stealing. To mug an NPC you can wear a helmet, but you'll need to have your hands drawn in a threatening way before you speak to them. Also we're not entirely sure what factors are taken into account, but maybe it could take the size difference between yourself and the NPC, or even how powerful and threatening the weapon you're holding in your hand is. Our favourite new option can only be initiated during combat. You can now speak to any nearby NPC and ask for their help mid-battle. They might say no and they might simply flee, but as long as your speech skill is high enough they should come to your aid. It's a simple change but it adds a bit of spontaneity to battle, especially when you add other mods that populate the wilds of Skyrim. So imagine getting into a fight with a thief and then another random NPC walks by. You can then ask for their help and it turns a boring encounter into something entirely unique. You can even take it a step further and ask them to follow you around for a while until you reach the next town. Overall the mod has a lot of potential for some really unique scenarios, especially if you're willing to roleplay a bit. From our testing everything worked great and the responses are always fitting to the dialogue option chosen, as you probably saw in the video. So if you're interested in the mod then you can find a link down below. If you're in the middle of Skyrim playthroughs and are looking for another game to play then you should check out g2a.com for some cheap games. Thanks to our partnership with them you can get 3% off using the discount code MODS at the checkout. It helps us out and you can get some great cheap games too, and until next time, thanks for watching.